So, y'all, I'm sitting out here in Mount Holly, North Carolina, waiting on this load to be ready. It's warm out this bitch today. That's for damn sure. I done been out here sweating my ass off this morning. And delivered 2 loads, about to pick up a nut and take that one out to Pleasant Garden tomorrow. After this, I'm going to the house. I mean, these motherfuckers might not know it, but God, that sun will make you want to go home a little early, won't it? If you gotta be out here that shit, it will make you want to go to the house a little early. I wanted to show mad love and appreciation to everybody who has been sending me messages of positivity. I want to do that first, to where y'all telling me basically, look, man, the motherfuckers that don't understand you ain't gonna ever understand shit. You know, basically, like, fuck even trying to get these, like, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the people who do understand me. I appreciate the people that support me. I wanted to come in here and give a little word. Now, black folk, y'all might not like this. I know how we are about our kids. I know how we feel about how we're raising them. But y'all know that I really, really hone in on how black parents are raising their black children and the black identity that is shaped for our children. And just so happens yesterday, I got to the house. Actually, I got to go to the house, and for a little while, I got on the game, and I created a chat party. Me and my brother was in there, you know, talking and shit like that. And a brother jumped in my chat party, and he said, "Man, Rob, I haven't talked to you in a long time. I really need to talk to you about something." And, you know, of course, I'm going to be like, all right, brother, you know, what you got on your mind? You know, what's going on? And I haven't talked to this brother in about a year and a half or 2. We used to play on the game a little bit more. I don't get to play as much as I used to. But he said he felt as though it was, you know, basically it was meant for us to talk, because he said he was just talking about me the other day. And then it so happens we ain't talked in years, and here we are on here. He tells me that he got a son. Him and his wife are raising a son. Son is 7 years old. Goes to a predominantly white school. He's one of the only black children there. We're going to deal with that, and we're going to flip this thing over too. All right? But I'm going to continue with what he had to say. He said that his son's making good grades, acing his test, but in class sometimes, just like a lot of kids have an issue staying focused. And what this predominantly white school are trying to do is how they do many of our children, and sadly enough, many of us as parents, we allow them to do this to our children. They want to come try to say they got some type of problem. Want to take our kids out of normal classes, put them in special classes, and these types of things, right? Now, this is something that is common. And typically, black parents cave under this type of pressure because we don't have faith in our children like we should. Nor we take accountability for the products that we send into the public school system a lot of times like we should. We don't do the work, right? And if you're going to be in a predominantly white school, and we know that most teachers are going to be cave hoes, right? White women make up the largest percentage of teachers here in America. 3Ks, don't get this shit fucked up, Incorporated. And they're going to try to put your kid in special classes. But if you know damn well that your kid does not fit the description, do not let them convince you that he or she does just because they white and they say so. A lot of y'all black folk got this type of problem. Now, I appreciate this brother because he said he wasn't letting that shit slide. So he went up to him and his wife went up there and they had to bang a little bit. That's what it takes. If you're not willing to stand up for your child and they know you standing up for them, then you are failing your child. You need to stand up for your child, regardless of what the fuck these caves be talking about. You need to stand up for them, especially in a public school system, and even more so if you're having in a predominantly white school. I think he said his son might be one of 3 black kids that be in his classes. He also said he's trying to explain to his 7-year-old son about racism and what it means to be a black boy who's going to grow into be a black man in this society. He talked to him about how you're going to have to work 2 times as hard in an effort to even be seen, because your white counterparts don't have to deal with this because they look out for each other. Now, here's the issue. This is true. This child is 7. He giving it to him the best, most honest way he knows how. His wife, the child's mother, thinks he's saying it too harshly. Now let me explain something to y'all black folk. You know, and I made sure that he understood that I'm not trying to come at nobody's wife, at nobody's kid's mom, but understand that a lot of times your job as a father is to be that fire. Mom, a lot of times, is going to take the water route, the coddling route. If you have a black child and you have them in a situation where they're one of the only black children, their so-called friends are even white, you better make sure that your child understands their black identity and what it means to be black, and also what it means to deal with subtle racism. There is no soft, nice way to prepare our kids for this America. A lot of y'all are taking that route, and our kids end up being shocked or thrown off when they deal with racism later on in life, or they become the black child surrounded by what they would deem their white peers and become that black friend who allows their white friends, so-called, I'm going to talk about that here in a second, their so-called friends to disrespect them racially. Racial disrespect. Now your child don't notice it because you ain't taught them shit. So they end up being the motherfucker we see around Halloween with their white friends wearing that noose on their neck as some type of joke, as some type of game, and we wonder where the fuck these people come from. This is the situation and the climate that they're raised in. Nobody's teaching them about their black identity. Nobody's showing them this is when you're being disrespected. He said he had to get on his son about that. With a white so-called friends that did some shit, and his son thinks it was a joke. He thinks it was something light, and the black father is trying to explain to him that wasn't light. They weren't laughing with you, they were laughing at you, and you need to make sure you understand that there is no soft way to do this. These so-called white friends, which I think is a very oxymoronic term at this point, I don't even allow my children to say anybody is their friend. I make sure my kids, I don't listen to stories of my kids telling me about a friend they have up at school. I don't even let them use that language. You don't have any friends. You have me, your mom, and your brothers and sisters. That's all you got. You don't make a whole friend. We throw that term around loosely. You don't make a whole friend in the time it takes to be in a class with a child at a school. You just don't. I don't allow my kids to be even under the falsehood of that's what a friend is. Because what happens a lot of times is these same friends will turn. They move. They end up being bitter towards you. All types of things happen with children at school, and they end up getting their feelings hurt because they thought they had a friend. And that's even amongst black children. I'm talking about if you got your kids surrounded by the caves. There is no soft way to do it. This is why it is a mistake for black men to leave the entire raising of our children to mothers, because the balance will be off. The mom wants to coddle the child, talk softly to them about their black identity, or completely ignore it. And I'm not saying that there are just a plethora of black fathers out here that are instilling this message into their children. But the way in which the message is given is going to be harder coming from daddy. Y'all know it is. A lot of y'all have fathers that didn't mince words. They weren't about, get your ass up. You ain't hurt. That's what a father brings to the table. That's the balance of energy that it takes to raise these children. You may have mom who's going to want to coddle, who's going to want to soft talk it, but you raising a black child. And in this situation, you raising a black boy into a man. I'm tired of having to talk to and convince grown people that they're black. And here's what you're going through because of this. I'm having to give grown people this lesson, you see. Because black parents aren't giving this lesson at home early. Your child may not fully understand it. He expressed this. And I told him it's okay. Your child may not fully understand because they don't have the experience. But y'all remember when y'all was coming up and your mom and dad said a little shit to you and you didn't fully understand what the fuck they was talking about? But they was trying to get a message to you. You may not have fully understood it then. But there would come times where you were in certain situations where you hear their voice in your motherfucking head. And you realize because you didn't listen to them, this is why you're here. Now, black parents, your mistake is always giving your child all types of other lessons about how much shit they not gonna take. You give them lessons about them standing up for themselves against other black folk. Right? You'll teach them to be label whores. And I'm not saying you won't throw in no shit in there about them cleaning their room and, functions around the house. You'll do that too. But the thing y'all leave out the most, and what y'all have to, what black people, I ain't gonna just say, what black people have used to substitute for black pride and black identity and understanding that is Jesus. Your kids know how to pray before they even know anything about their blackness. And we don't see anything wrong with that. They'll know all about this motherfucker that they'll never see that died for them, and thus they owe him their absolute servitude and worship. And you don't teach them shit about being black and how to function out here amongst these motherfucking caves. You just send them out there. A lot of y'all got y'all kids in situations like this right now, and you don't see anything wrong with it. You ain't telling them shit. You're not teaching them shit. And this is even when we're raising our kids where they're going to be in predominantly black schools, you still need to teach them how to deal with America. 3 motherfucking Ks. Don't get this shit fucked up, incorporated. They still need to know. They don't need to be shocked once they're in a situation where, there are white folk around. Because typically, even in black public schools, most of them teachers gonna be white. So all your kid done learned all their life is to please these people in every way possible in order to get a good grade. How many of y'all know black folk out here right now that's trying to get a good grade from white folk? That's where this mentality comes from. Now, I know a lot of us will say, well, it's the public school system. I'm not going to say that the public school system is not somewhat responsible, but I'm going to lay the brunt of the responsibility on black parents. Because y'all out here fucking around. Teaching your kid what it is to be fly. Teaching them vanity. Teaching them goddamn label whoring and celebrity worship. But you're skipping over the essential lessons that our children need. I don't give a damn what school they go to. I don't give a fuck what school they go to. But we're skipping a lot of vital lessons. And black folk don't like to hear that. They don't like to hear that type of shit at all. Because it should convict you as a parent to start now. Stop fucking around. As soon as you send your child into this public school system, you need to start explaining to them how this world works. And they may not understand it. They may not understand it right off. But you continue to beat that drum. Because you do not want to raise the black child who's trying to get a good grade from the caves. Sacrificing their pride to be liked by the caves. I've known too many black folk like that. Will settle for anything. All types of racist ass jokes being told. Jokes on you. You don't know it. You just doing whatever the fuck you feel like you need to do to keep these white people appeased with you. And that starts from young. Now, I told him to keep on banging. It don't matter. It doesn't matter that the mom may be against you. You're a dad. You are a dad. You are a father. Mom may not see it like you. She don't want to take the more, coddle motherfucker, the coddle motherfucking route. But that's not, it's not for a woman, a mother of a black child. A child doesn't have two mothers. They're not supposed to receive that coddling ass bullshit from from both parents. And you may have to get into arguments. They may tell you you going too hard, you taking it too serious. You're raising a black child. Now, it is sad that you would have to convince any person who has a black child that this is important. But we're in the relationships. We're in the marriages. We're having the children. And, the ideology may have hit you a little bit late. We've talked about that several times here. The importance may have hit you late. But now you're ready to go in and you're not trying to play games about it. And the other person may not be where you are. Argue then. I don't give a fuck. I'll have the arguments. It doesn't matter to me. I've had the arguments. Makes me no difference. I know a lot of times, fathers and men, we're trying to avoid arguing with our women or the mothers of our children. We're trying to avoid them arguments because them shits are drawling. Little stupid ass arguments about nothing. But this right here, this is a relevant argument. It ain't no little dumb one. This one is relevant. And you need to understand where you stand, and you're not going to back down from it. They have to understand where you stand. Period. Period. Black fathers, it's not your job to coddle our sons. It's not your job to coddle our children at all. Give it to them straight up. Because America is going to give it to them straight up. You got grown black folk out here talking about, what you mean racism exists? I never experienced racism. That's where you get these people from. They were never taught a black identity. Never made themselves a part of the struggle. Because we're all a part of it. Your kids should not be realizing they black at 21, 25, 18 even, 30. Oh, I'm black? A lot of y'all sending y'all kids out here, and that's what it is. Now, you'll teach them to be scared of the goddamn police. You'll teach them that. You'll teach them to cower. You'll teach them that. You have no problem teaching them to cower to the police. You'll teach them black only in that function. And that's not enough. And really it's trash, because you should be teaching your kid their rights as opposed to, well, just be scared as possible. That way your rights could be full-blown disrespected. They'll use fear-mongering tactics. We've seen this work on children before. because we're not preparing them. Because we want to soft talk them through this shit. Then they end up in a situation and they don't know what to do. End up incriminating themselves or speaking without legal representation or parental guardianship as a representative. We end up putting our kids in all types of fucked up situations because y'all want to tiptoe around black. Y'all want to play about this shit. Done create this world in your mind that you want to be real, but it's not real. And therefore, you must be preparing your children as early as 5 years old, if you ask me. And again, they may not understand, but you need to be explaining them the situations that they're going to be in with these people. And when they get in those situations, when they recognize they're in those situations, they're going to hear your voice. Oh, this motherfucker is being racist towards you. And if you don't explain it to them, they may not know. They may chalk it up as, well, it's just some fun shit that's going on. Like, no, this is racist as fuck. And your friend Lil Andy, he may not even fully understand how racist it is, but his parents are teaching him to play with you like this. Huh? Why the fuck Lil Andy ain't doing that to Lil Susan, Lil Brad? Why they wait till you show up to want to play a little slave game? Huh? Why they waiting for you for that? Till you show up. Who was fucking Kunta Kinte before you got there? Was it Brad? Was Brad playing that part? No, these motherfucking caves are raising their children to have these racist views. That's what's happening. And I can't be mad at how they're raising their kids. I could give a fuck less how they're raising their kids. My concern is how we raising ours. Whether they're in a public school system or not. They need to understand their black identity. And understand, black parents, that these fucking white school system may try to get some bullshit over on your child. You know damn well your child ain't dumb. They may struggle paying attention in class, sitting there, listening to this white hole run off a bunch of information that don't nobody really care about. Making sure your child can recite it. It's a product of social engineering, but it's a necessary part of education. But explain to your child that your teacher may give you the grade. They may be grading your homework, may be grading your test. But there's a whole nother grade that our kids fail all the time. There's a whole nother subject that our children are continuing to fail. They damn sure ain't dancing, because we make sure they can do that, don't we? And for that subject, for the black identity, and standing up for yourself and having motherfucking pride, I'm going to give you that grade. I'm going to teach the class, and I'm going to be the one to grade you. That's how I'm raising my children. I don't let them talk about friends of no kind. I don't give a damn who they are. When we talking about second, third grade, y'all, we have to make sure our kids are ready then. Because if they're going to be in situations, again, this is a situation where this black child is one of the only black people in the entire goddamn school. So you know they're going to play your child. I don't see how you send your kid in a situation like that and don't already be ready for what you're going to have to prepare your child for. For them to not take the disrespect, and for you not to take it as a goddamn parent. When they see you stand up for yourself, that gives our kids the energy to stand up for themselves. Going up to that school and telling these motherfuckers, no, you're not going to treat my child like they slow. You're not going to do that. Not when they're making the grades they're supposed to. You're not going to do that. And even if they're not making the grades they're supposed to, we're not going to do that. We have to be responsible for what we're sending up to these schools, y'all. Our children should be able to be in situations, even when they're amongst the caves, that they stand up for themselves. Regardless. Hell, because truth be told, You sending your kid to a mostly black school and you teaching them black identity, well, most of the people they're going to be surrounded by is little coons. These are the facts. And you have to teach your kid how to stand up for their blackness in both situations. Sadly enough, you have to even do it when you got your kids surrounded by other black children. Because they're little materialistic dancing ass coons. Because that's all their parents teaching them. You got to prepare your kid for that as well. And if you do not, you are failing your kids on both ends. Now, I know most of y'all won't look at this as a fail. Because you're the very coon I'm talking about. But this is necessary work that we must do. If you do not do both things, do both things. Teach your kid how to move in a room full of caves with pride. Teach your kids how to move in a room full of coons with pride. That's our job. There's no soft way to say it to them. You cannot ignore it. You're raising a black child. It does not matter if the other parent has an issue with what the message is you're trying to convey to your black child, and particularly fathers with our sons. Mom gonna be wanting to be too soft. And you might love her. Y'all done got married. Y'all, in a full-blown marriage and everything. But do not let her guilt you into both of y'all becoming the same energy, because that's not what our children need. Period. But I know y'all play games about this shit, but it's serious shit, man. It's really serious. It's really serious. And I told him, I respected him for even being one to want to contact me. He kind of wanted me to validate his stance. And I did that shit for him. So to even have that in you to seek me out, well, I need to talk to Rob. I appreciate that. So that means somebody listening sometimes, at least, right? That means somebody listening. So I appreciate that. But I want us to take this shit serious. It's not a game. We're not equipping our children with what they need to go out here with pride in all situations. And if they do not, whenever we see these grown-ass coons out here, confused-ass black people, that's because their parents didn't teach them shit about their black identity. I wasn't taught shit about my black identity. I got Jesus nim. I knew about Jesus nim. I knew about Joseph. I didn't know about Harriet. Learned about Moses, didn't know shit about Malcolm. We're failing our children with this bullshit. And thinking we could just coddle them through. No, you cannot do that. At this, and it doesn't matter if the child is 7. Ring that bell. Beat that drum. That's your job. All the shit our kids are going to be succumbed to. They can go get on, any type of social media. They putting sex all over the goddamn TV, sexualizing lyrics to songs and everything like that. Our kids, y'all don't mind them being a part of singing these Cardi B songs. You don't mind them doing that. These dumbass, nasty ass songs, you don't mind them reciting that, dancing to those. But when it comes to the black identity, they ain't ready for all that yet. Shitting me. Y'all keep playing these games if you want to. But we failing our kids. And I'm not going to let y'all off the hook about it. So, mad love to the brother that hit me up. Mad love to the brothers and sisters that can hear my message, that understand what I'm saying, and not taking offense to it, because there's a good chance that even you might got some work to do out here playing these games with these kids. You might got some work to do. Let's do that work. So we can decrease the amount of confused ass, sellout ass, black people that we have amongst us out here to this day. We have to reduce that number. And the only way to do it is if we teach our kids what the fuck's going on out here and they're where they stand. That's the only way. There is no other way. I'll debate that with any motherfucker that want to come see me. I'll debate you about this shit. And again, we talk about this public school system, but if you're doing your job as a parent, then your child is insulated a little bit, at least. Because you're making sure they understand. The information that they're taking in, the information that they're being tested on, you making sure you're there for every step of the way. Do the work. Put your goddamn phone down. And focus on your goddamn kids. Motherfuckers talk all the shit about me they want to. But I make sure my kids understand their black identity. I beat that drum with them all the time. And they may not fully understand it yet because they don't have the experience all the way yet. But they gonna know. They gonna hear my voice in their motherfucking head. Anytime some bullshit going on, they gonna hear me. And that's our job. But that's all the fuck I wanted to say, y'all. Appreciate anybody who made it to this point. I know it was a longer video, but I had a lot to get off my chest. And I really feel strongly about what we're doing as parents. And the stuff that we teach our kids and the shit that we act like they just too young to learn. Like, no. The caves is out here. Especially if you're in a predominantly cave area. You done moved out and got it with predominantly caves. And you gonna leave your kid out here to figure it out on his own? Nah, fuck that. Fuck that shit. Nah. That's not what we doing. But y'all like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Links to follow me on social media in the description box. Black first, second, and third. Shout out Team Rob. Y'all already know what the fuck it is. I'm out.